Hi, it's Kathy, and I'm using Tony Carmine Salerno's deck, Magdalene Oracle. And the beautiful card I pulled out is Acceptance. Tony Carmine Salerno's artwork is incredible, very inspiring. Acceptance. Okay. Acceptance is the key word for you at the moment. You have the power to heal and bring balance to an area of your life that is causing you concern by accepting things as they are. Don't try to change that which is beyond your power to change. Focus instead on that over which you do have power. You have power over the way you react to the events in your life. Adopting an accepting attitude will help you regain your sense of inner peace. There's no point worrying about something if worrying about it will make no difference. Believe that the forces of life are with you and not against you. Make the most of what you have instead of wishing you had more. However, acceptance does not mean that you need to give up on your dreams, hopes, or aspirations. Just know that there is a higher purpose to things and trust that all will work out for your highest good and for the highest good of all concerned. Okay, so we're reading Divine Principle, and we're up to Moses. Moses is a very long chapter. Based on this victory, they laid the foundation of substance in the third national course and established the foundation for the Messiah for this course, albeit as a people without sovereignty. The family foundation for the Messiah had been fulfilled in the days of Abraham. His descendants passed through a 400-year course of indemnity as slaves in Egypt, because they could enter Canaan and therefore complete the national foundation for the Messiah. This required more than merely entering and conquering Canaan, as was discussed earlier in detail. Fallen people had already founded powerful nations such as Egypt, led by satanic rulers who opposed God's providence of restoration. Therefore, even though the national foundation for the Messiah was established under Joshua's leadership, it would be necessary to build a sovereign kingdom from which the Messiah could confront the satanic nations of the world. However, once the younger generations of Israelites entered Canaan, they also became faithless. Hence, God's providence was prolonged again and would suffer repeated setbacks until the time of Jesus. Some lessons from Moses' course. In these pages, we have revealed how Moses walked the model course on formula course for the providence of restoration. Even by studying the providence centered on Moses alone, we cannot but come to the conclusion that God exists and has been guiding human history toward the realization of one absolute purpose. Moses' course also demonstrates that the actual outcome of a person's life depends upon whether or not the person fulfills his portion of responsibility, regardless of God's foreordained plan for him. Moreover, God does not intervene in the human portion of responsibility, but acts only upon the actual result a person brings. Moses' course demonstrates the absoluteness of God's predestined will. Moses' course shows that the greater one's mission, the greater the tests one will face. Because the first ancestors fell when they did not believe in God but turned away from Him, central figures restoring the foundation of faith must overcome a test in which God abandons them. Moses had to overcome a trial in which God tried to kill him before he could rise as the leader of the Israelites. With the fall as a condition, Satan bound human beings in a relationship with him. Consequently, God does not grant grace to people without a necessary condition, for if he were to do so, Satan would make accusations. Therefore, when God is about to give grace, he puts the person through a test, either before or after the grace, to prevent Satan's accusation. In the beginning, Adam should have governed the angels. But due to his fall, human beings came under Satan's dominion and formed a hellish world. To restore this through indemnity, Jesus came as the second Adam to personally bring Satan to submission and establish the kingdom of heaven. Jacob walked the symbolic course to bring Satan to submission, while Moses walked the image course. Their courses pioneered the way for Jesus to walk the actual course. In walking the worldwide course to restore Canaan, Jesus followed the model demonstrated in the national course to restore Canaan when Moses was working to subjugate Satan. The foundation of faith. In the first worldwide course to restore Canaan, the central figure entrusted with the mission to restore the foundation of faith was John the Baptist. Okay. John the Baptist, like Moses, was called on the foundation of 400-year period for the separation of Satan. Moses had learned to love his brethren and the traditions of his fathers while living in the Pharaoh's palace. Likewise, John the Baptist learned the way of faith and obedience to heaven, and made preparations for the Messiah while living on locusts and wild honey in the wilderness. His life was so exemplary that many people, including the priests and Levites, wondered whether he might be the Messiah. In this way, John the Baptist successfully established the dispensation of 40 for the separation of Satan, and was able to lay the foundation of faith for the first worldwide course to restore Canaan. Since John the Baptist stood in the same position as Moses, he likewise stood in the dual positions of parent and child. From the position of parent, he restored through indemnity the foundation of faith. From the position of a child, he secured the position of Abel for the fulfillment of the indemnity condition to remove the fallen nature. God conducted the dispensation to start by encouraging the Jewish people to believe in John through the miracles surrounding his life. The Jewish people in Jesus' time were to believe in and follow John the Baptist, whom God had raised up through miracles and signs as the focus of their faith. Thus they would fulfill the indemnity condition to remove the fallen nature and lay the foundation of substance, thereby immediately establishing the foundation for the Messiah. The Jewish people stood upon the foundation of faith laid by John the Baptist and followed John as if they were following the Messiah. Thereupon they brought an end to the Old Testament age and were ready to embark upon a new course to restore Canaan worldwide. Yet John the Baptist harbored doubts toward Jesus, even though he had testified to him. He sent a delegation and asked Jesus, "Are you he who is to come, or shall we look for another?" He denied that he was Elijah, even though he in fact came to fulfill Elijah's mission. This not only blocked the Jewish people's path to Jesus, it even led them to oppose him. In fact, John left the position of Abel, depriving the Jewish people of the central person with whom they could fulfill the indemnity condition to remove the fallen nature. This blocked their way to complete the foundation of substance, or the foundation for the Messiah. Consequently, the first worldwide course to restore Canaan was aborted, as was the case in Moses' days. It was prolonged to a second and then a third course. Okay, so we went from Moses' course into Jesus. So I guess from now on we'll be talking about Jesus. Okay, and thank you for listening.